Cliff, tomorrow it's all about women's pay in Washington, with the Senate looking to bridge the gender gap right down to the paycheck. Right now, statistics show women earn 77 cents for every dollar that men make. If the Senate passes the Paycheck Fairness Act tomorrow, that means more scrutiny over who gets paid and how much. But Sabrina Schaeffer of the Independent Women's Forum says that the legislation is bad for women, bad for business, and even bad for men. Fatima Ghost-Graves of the National Women's Law Center says passage of this bill would finally set things straight. Sabrina, you're up first. Tell us what you are expecting and why this is bad.
Well, look, this is just the next battle of the war on women that Democrats are playing. They're more interested in playing gender politics than actually tackling the economic issues that are facing us right now at a time when we have 8.2% unemployment. And the fact is, the Paycheck Fairness Act would be an absolute jobs killer.
Fatima, you first state your case, but how does this measure level the playing field in your view? Poke the holes that you believe there are in Sabrina's case here.
You know, in over 50 years, the wage gap has improved very little, only 18 cents in 50 years, and it's remained about the same over the last 10 years. So what this bill would really do is get at some of the underlying reasons of the wage gap. It would go and ensure that employers have the right incentives to pay women fairly and would stop keeping employees in the dark.
Look,
now is really...
Go ahead.
What I was going to say is now is really the time to deal with this type of issue because women and their families are facing really tough economic times. You have women making up the majority of breadwinners, and so now is really time to deal with this issue.
So wait a second. You're saying the women are the majority of the breadwinners, and then you're saying that they're underpaid. Which is it? Are they the breadwinners or not the breadwinners?
Well, that's why it's hard for families. That's why it's so hard for families. It's an issue for both men and women because it's a family issue. 6 in 10 women are breadwinners.
I think the thing we're overlooking is just how valuable women are to the workplace and that employers recognize that. Women earn more bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, now PhDs. As Fatima said, they're 50% of the workforce. They're increasingly becoming the breadwinners in the family. It's hardly seeming as though women are widely discriminated against, and we need to accept the fact that this wage gap is a function of lifestyle choices rather than widespread discrimination, rather than looking at the workplace as hostile towards women.
All right, so you're saying the reason that women make 77 cents on the dollar is because of their own choices.
Absolutely, and those choices aren't necessarily
come
bad.
Back, want a lot of balls in the air.
Right,
No woman is choosing to be paid less by her employer. This issue has been studied time and time.
She's not choosing to be paid less. However, if you make a choice to leave the job, go have a family, do something else, come back, you know, somebody may have gotten ahead of you, and he did not leave. So you made a choice. That's not necessarily choosing. I want to make less money than you.
Right, and I think it's really important to point out what this does mean for men. I mean, the fact is a law like this would have dramatic implications for men's salaries and bonuses. I mean, just look at what happened with Title IX. We can see the exact same thing happening here.
What are the implications for men's salaries?
If I could get in here for a minute, this issue has been studied time and again, and every time they study it, they find that there is no way to explain away the wage gap based on women's choices in family or women's choices in career. In fact, the wage gap starts the moment women leave college. But, you know, the theories that are out there by opponents of this bill that the wage gap is going to hurt men somehow, none of that has stood up over time. These are the same arguments that are rehashed over and over again.
Fatima, what you're saying is an employee, chairman, a CEO is looking at a man, looking at a woman, and they have the same job, and they're saying, I'm going to pay the woman less money. Is that what you're saying?
You know, sometimes it happens by accident, sometimes it happens on purpose. Sometimes employers know that they can get rid of it, that they can get away with it because there isn't any real deterrent value here.
But I think that it would be a nice thing to sort of focus on what could be done outside of government. I mean, I think that, like, Facebook's Sheryl Sandberg makes a really good point that the more women can take a seat at the table, the more women can learn how to negotiate and, you know, advocate on their behalf, the better for women. And women can do that on their own without
Unfortunately, Paycheck Fairness Act provides for some tools to do that. Paycheck Fairness provides not only deterrence for employers, it actually provides for tools to have things like salary negotiation training, so that to provide some additional things like that. Because what we know is that women are paid less in part because sometimes they don't ask, but also when they do ask, they're often penalized for it.
Well, you know, this is a very important argument, and we've got to keep focusing on it, ladies. You know, I would like to believe that pay goes to performance, and whether you're a male or a woman, if you perform, you will get paid, and get paid, you know, and get paid competitively. But we'll keep watching. Thank you very much, ladies.
And this bill won't allow that. Thanks.
What do you mean this bill won't allow that?
Well, I mean, it's going to make it so much harder to tie compensation to work product or work quality.
That's just absolutely not right.
I see what you're saying, because it just makes it doesn't look at performance, just looking male versus female. Ladies, we'll get back to this.
It does the exact opposite.
You're not going to let me get out of this segment. Thank you, ladies. We will see you soon. Let me get to Jackie.